You know, the device you're watching this on right now, it didn't just magically appear in a store. Nope, it actually survived this crazy, high-stakes global race. And today, we're gonna pull back the curtain on that hidden journey.
I mean, have you ever really stopped to think about it? You click buy online or you walk out of the store and poof, this incredible piece of tech is yours. But what's the real story? How in the world did it actually get to you?
Well, let me tell you, that journey is anything but simple. It is an absolute sprint across continents, navigating the super competitive industry where literally every single second and every penny counts. So to really get a feel for what that race looks like, let's follow the story of one company that's right in the middle of it, fighting to win.
All right, let's meet the main character of our story. It's a company called TechZone Retail. They're an electronics distributor based in Latin America, and believe me, they are right in the thick of this whole global game.
So what does TechZone do? On the surface, it's pretty simple. They sell stuff like smartphones and laptops all over Latin America. But here's the catch. They don't actually make any of it. They have to import everything from manufacturers way over in Asia, mostly from China and South Korea. And that one detail, that total reliance on imports, creates some absolutely huge challenges for them.
For a company like TechZone, that whole import journey is like walking through a minefield. There are so many risks. So let's break down the 4 biggest hurdles, any one of which could totally sink their business before a single phone even gets to a customer.
Okay, first up, you've got what we can call the supplier dilemma. Choosing who actually makes your stuff is, well, it's everything. Pick the right partner, and you get high-quality products delivered right on time. But pick the wrong one? Oh man, you could get a shipment full of faulty gadgets, face costly delays, and just completely wreck your company's reputation. It is hands down the first and most critical choice they have to make.
All right, hurdle number 2 is something called inventory management. Just think about it like you're buying groceries, right? You don't want to buy a month's worth of milk because it'll go bad before you can drink it all. Well, for TechZone, their milk is the latest high-tech electronics, and that stuff has a very, very short shelf life.
And that really gets to the heart of the problem. In the world of electronics, the pace of change is just relentless. I mean, today's hottest new gadget is like tomorrow's outdated paperweight. So if TechZone orders way too many of a certain phone, and then, bam, a newer, better version hits the market, they are suddenly stuck with a warehouse full of very expensive paperweights. It is a constant, stressful tightrope walk.
Then you've got the actual physical journey, what I like to call the logistics maze. And trust me, this isn't as simple as just throwing some boxes on a boat. You've got to deal with complex customs rules for every country. You've got unpredictable import taxes, you've got shipping costs that go up and down. Oh, and you have to do all of this while making sure these super fragile, expensive electronics don't get broken on their way across an entire ocean. It's a huge, huge headache.
And last but not least, we have one of the biggest kind of hidden dangers, currency exchange risk. So here's how it works. TechZone buys all its gadgets from the manufacturers using US dollars, but they sell them to their customers in their local currencies in Latin America. Now, what happens if the value of that local currency drops against the dollar in the time between when they buy the phones and when they sell them? Poof, their profit can just disappear.
And this chart right here shows you exactly what that looks like in the real world. If the exchange rate is good, great. They might make a healthy 15% profit. But if that rate suddenly shifts the wrong way, that exact same deal could bring in a measly 2% profit, or even worse, a loss. All that hard work, finding the supplier, shipping the goods, selling them, it can all be wiped out by something they have absolutely no control over.
So you're looking at all these massive hurdles, and you have to ask, how does a company like TechZone even survive? Well, they don't just cross their fingers and hope for the best, they actually fight back. They have a real strategy, one designed to turn all this risk into a competitive advantage.
And that's really the key here. Their success isn't just luck. It's because they built this really smart, comprehensive import strategy that was designed from the ground up to tackle these exact risks head-on.
So what does this plan look like? It's basically a 3-step approach. First, supplier diversification. Simple, right? Don't put all your eggs in one basket. If one supplier has a problem, you've got backups. Second, they use something called financial hedging. You can think of it like locking in an exchange rate ahead of time. It protects their profits from those wild currency swings. And third, they just get way smarter about demand forecasting. They use a ton of data to predict what people are actually going to want to buy, which means they're much less likely to get stuck with those, you guessed it, expensive paperweights.
Okay, so that's TechZone's story.
But what does a story about one company in Latin America have to do with the phone in your pocket or the laptop on your desk right now?
Well, here's the big takeaway. In today's global market, having a smart supply chain isn't just a nice-to-have for growth. It's about pure survival. Behind every single gadget that you take out of the box and it just works, there's a whole hidden story of smart people making smart decisions to navigate some incredible risks.
Kind of changes how you see things, doesn't it? So the next time you unbox a new gadget, maybe take a second. Think about that invisible journey, because that shiny new device in your hands, it isn't just a product. It's the winner of a massive global race against time, risk, and a whole lot of uncertainty.